Right. Okay, beautiful. So jumping into rewriting your story, the subconscious mind reprogramming part, I want to share a little bit about my background. So how did I get to this work? So just to share a little bit about my story, I grew up half half. So I was born in LA to my dad's from Hong Kong, my mom's from Indonesia, so I'm first generation American. And then when I was 5, I moved to Indonesia. And the reason I share this is because, having both cultures really influenced a lot about who I thought I was and who I thought I should be, right? And so, growing up in both cultures, I grew up feeling like I was too Indonesian to be American, or I was like too American to be an Indonesian. And I was constantly in this back and forth. And I feel like I was born with more American values. I very much resonate with the American way of thinking, where we're very sovereign and it's all about creativity and just that go-getter attitude, right? Yet when I was 5, I moved to Indonesia, and I was raised in this Asian culture that was very much more about like conforming and staying in line and playing your role in the family. And like, especially for women, we were kind of second class citizens, right? So I grew up in this very oppressive culture. And this started to really, I started to become aware of this big disconnect when I was 23. So I moved back to America for high school and college. And then when I was 23, I moved back to Indonesia to be with my mom and help her build her company. And I feel like I had my quarter life crisis at this time, because I was living in Indonesia and I was doing all the right things. By society standard, I, went to business school, graduated with honors, then got a really good job. I was like building this company that was really successful. I was making a lot of money. I was living with my family. I had friends that I've known since I was 5, and materially I had everything that I wanted. But even though I had all these boxes ticked, I still felt like I was empty inside, that there was something missing. And I felt like, because I was living in this culture, in the Indonesian culture, that I had to, of course, adapt to the culture. But through that adaptation, I kind of lost myself. And so I was in this constant battle of the head and the heart, because logically it was like, stay here, you have everything you need, your future is solid here. It's like you're doing all the right things. But then deep in my heart, I wanted something more. I wanted something different, but I didn't know what it was. I was just like, this isn't it. Right. And I was in this constant battle. And, unfortunately, my head won most of the time. So I would just force myself to be in this space, and I would positive think my way into just like, just find the things that you're grateful for. And I was honestly lying to myself. There is a way that you can rewrite your story that is totally bypassing what's happening. And that's what we're not going to do. Right. Because I was just bypassing it. And I was trying to ignore the negative emotion, all these feelings that I was having inside. And so what that ended up creating was I started getting sick, right? Because dis-ease, it's just a message from the body. And so for 2 years, I was 23. For 2 years, I was going back and forth to the hospital. My hair was falling out. I gained a bunch of weight. I was like falling asleep at my desk. I was bloated. I had ulcers. And the doctors could not figure out what it was. They were like, it's lupus, it's autoimmune. And then finally at 24, I got like a full panel of everything, and they diagnosed me with pancreatic cancer. And I was 24. Yeah. And that was my wake up call, and it's so beautiful how when we're faced with death, that's when we start living. Right. And that was the permission slip for me, because at that point I was just like, fuck it. I got nothing to lose, So I was just like, great. I'm going to travel, and then I'm going to die. Like, I'm finally going to start living my life on my terms, because I tried living this life that my mom set out for me, that society set out for me, being the person I thought I should be. And it nearly freaking killed me. Like, it literally brought me to my deathbed. And so I went on my hero's journey, and I left everything I knew. I was like, I'm leaving Indonesia. I'm going to go travel. And so it brought me back to the States. And then I ended up back here in Europe for 6 months. And when I had that space, this was my first time traveling alone. I was the first woman in my family to ever travel alone. And my entire family was freaking out, because they were just like, you're going to get kidnapped. It's so dangerous out there. What are you doing? You should be working, all this stuff. And I was just like, I am done playing by your rules because your rules don't make me happy. It literally makes me dead inside. And I just had to be like, okay, I respect your opinion. I'm going to go live my life. And so when I had this space, and I was, at this point, I wasn't really into personal development. I had no idea, but this was just the natural evolution that occurred, right? So when I had my space away from my family and my pretty dominating Asian mom, I finally began to hear my own voice. And even though my grandma every other day was texting me these articles about women getting kidnapped and drugged and raped and all these things, and I was just like, okay, grandma, like you're coming from a fierce space and you're telling me that the world is a dangerous place, but I don't really believe that, like I don't actually believe that's true. And so I went out to find out for myself, right? So I was traveling and I was just like, you know what? I want to see what the world is really about. And I want to find out if the world is a dangerous place or not. So the rebel in me was like, I'm going to stay in hostels. I'm going to go couch surf. I'm going to go hitchhike. I'm going to do all this stuff because I believe that the world is good. Right. And very luckily, I mean, not just luckily, but this is just the reality. Like, not once was I in danger. I was only met by kindness. And this is when I started to see the power of belief in manifestation, right? I was like, wow, actually, my grandma can think that's true. That's her experience, okay. But like, my truth is the world is a kind and friendly place. My truth is, there's something beyond that old life. There's something beyond all the conditioning, all the things that generationally has been passed on to my family. There's something beyond that. And so that eventually led me to Bali because I felt an urge in myself to tap deeper into my spirituality. And when I came to Bali, I magically, literally was having breakfast at this healing center. They offered me a job. So I started working for this healing center in Ubud where they shot Eat, Pray, Love. And I had my whole Eat, Pray, Love experience. And I started working for this healing center. And my job was, I was their marketing director. So they were like, great, try out all these healings, try out all these workshops, study it, sell it. And the first healing modality I ever tried in my life was theta healing. And theta healing, it's kind of like hypnosis. So you basically get into a theta brainwave where you can access your deep subconscious. And from there, if there is an issue, a problem in your life, we find the bottom belief. So we don't get stuck in story. We just look for the root. Where does this come from? We reprogram the root, we, clear it, and then we download what we want. We download the empowering beliefs, the beliefs that we need in order to create the reality we want. And literally this can be done in minutes. And so when I had my first session, I was like, oh my God, like it felt like 10 years of therapy in one session. And I was hooked, like I cleared traumas, emotional baggage, phobias that I've had for years in a couple minutes and it was just like, what's like, I've been carrying around all this baggage and you're telling me I can let it go in a few minutes. So this is what got me into, the healing world, because I just saw how transformational it was. And being really devoted then to my healing, I cleared all my health issues completely naturally, with modalities like theta healing. And then I also got, support from like Chinese medicine and all these other spiritual and emotional healing practices. And that's when I began to devote my life to this, because I was just like, there is so much suffering in the world. And honestly, a lot of it is kind of unnecessary suffering, kind of like it's in the past, but we're bringing it to the present just because the trauma can't be processed, right? And so what we're going to do today is I'm going to teach you the incredible modalities of scripting, which is, rewriting your story through your journal. So we're really going to be working with both your conscious and your subconscious mind. And then we're going to do some group clearings with theta healing in the middle. So this is like, it makes it so much more effective than just writing affirmations. And here I'm going to share my screen to show you a little bit about how this process works. And this is something that you can replicate in your daily life by yourself. Okay. So how to rewrite your story. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is uncover your subconscious stories and beliefs. So your subconscious mind makes up 95% of your mind. 95%, meaning that your conscious minds, the thoughts that you're actually choosing consciously, right? Like that thoughts that are saying like, I'm abundant, I'm worthy, like whatever it is that you want. Sometimes it's true in you, but sometimes it's like you want to believe it, but there's a part of you that doesn't really believe it yet, right? So your conscious mind is the one deciding it, but that part of you that might not believe it yet, that's the subconscious mind. That's the 95%. So if you have two competing beliefs, say you want to, you want to be successful and you want to start a new business. So you have one belief of just like, I'm going to start this business. But if you have another belief that's saying starting a business is scary, I'm going to fail, what if I lose all my money, right? And that's your subconscious beliefs, the thoughts that you actually don't want to have, but they're there. And that's 95% of your brain. Which one do you think is going to be overpowering, right? The 95%. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you some journal prompts, and I want you to write as honestly as possible. And when I say that, just go with instinct. Don't overthink it. Just whatever comes out first, that's what's most present with you, with what's most alive in you. Don't censor yourself, just free write. This is when we start to dig into that gold, into the subconscious mind, so we can see what's really there, right? And then so once we find those beliefs, some of them are going to be totally aligned with who you are and where you want to be. Those ones, then great, we can leave them alone and we just reinforce them through behavior, right? But then there's going to be some that you're like, you know what, this doesn't really serve me. Like, this doesn't actually bring me closer to my goals. So those are the ones that we're going to clear. And then after we, clear out the space, now we have space for something new, because sometimes it's hard to think about the future when you have a crippling fear, right? It's hard to think that you can have a positive experience if you've had years and years and years of a negative experience piling on top of that, right? So we got to clear the space. And once we clear the space, we can script your new story from a clean slate, right? And so scripting is using the power of journaling. And when you put it into physical form, that's a really powerful manifestation practice, right? You're really putting pen to paper saying, hey, this is my reality. I'm claiming it. I'm bringing this down to earth. And then from there, we're going to find your new beliefs. Okay, so if this is the reality that I am choosing to create from here on out, what beliefs will support that, right? Like, what do I need to believe about myself? What do I need to believe about the situation so that I can feel aligned and natural in this, that this is just how it is? And then we're going to download those beliefs with theta healing. And then, throughout time, we're going to anchor the beliefs through repeated actions. Wouldn't it be nice if we just thought something and it appeared, right? Like, wouldn't it be so nice if manifestation with that was that instant? But really, we have to integrate it through our actions, through our behaviors. And so that's going to be the last part, our integration of like, okay, what are your practical next steps for you to really ground this in and live this in your reality? How are you going to live the story? We're not just writing a book, right? We are living the story. So the first thing we're going to jump into right now, I want you to take out your journal and pens, and we're going to have 10 minutes to dig into your current story. So why are we starting here? Today's focus on the workshop is, who are you, right? Because you're the main character in your story. Who is this character? Right? Like, think about it like the movie of your life. You literally get to choose. You get to create this avatar. Like, who are you? The problem is, most of us are living the story and we're unconscious of like, oh, like, who do I actually think I am? Right? Because if we are, for example, living with our family, or we're used to playing this role in our friend group or in our community, sometimes those things aren't really chosen. We're just like, oh, that's just the way it is. Okay, well, is it still serving you? Is this still the role that you want to play, right? So right now, we're just going to get down and dirty and real with ourselves. And we're going to answer these questions. Who are you? And whatever comes through is perfect. You might identify as, I am a daughter, I am a mother, I'm a 31-year-old, I am an Asian American, like whatever it is for you, there's no wrong answer, and just jot that down. And then we're going to look at, who are you not? Right? Who are you not? And then we're going to look at, who do you think you're supposed to be? And then number 4, what's most important to you in life? Right? Like, what is life all about? And why? Why is that important to you? And the number 5, what do you believe about yourself? So I'm just going to put on some light music here and I'll set a timer for 10 minutes. And again, just be as honest as possible. Whatever comes to mind is perfect.
Petra, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because I'm curious, there could be so many answers depending on the facets of your life. And so are we answering this from the framing of the issue that we're trying to address?
So really good question. The issue that we're trying to address. Okay, so when we start with the foundation of who you are, right? Like say you're like, I am Jen, the hero of my story, right? Then that's going to influence how you're going to address the issue, right? If you're like, I am Jen, the problem solver versus I am Jen, the victim, right? The way that you're going to solve the problem is going to be different. So I would say for this one, since the theme of it is, more your personal identity, I would invite you to stick to this one because that's literally going to be the bottom foundation of everything else in your life. Does that answer your question?
I'll go with it.
Okay. Yeah. And if there is something, if there's a specific identity that you want to work on. So for example, if you're really focused on your business right now, and that's just what feels most present to you, then write on who are you in your business, in the business hat of Jen, right? Because if that feels most alive and emotionally meaningful to you, then yeah, go with that. Is that landing with you, Jen?
And because there's a difference between who are you and what are you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if you say who are you, Jen, the problem solved, like that is a what. It's like that's not who I am. That's what I can do. And so I'm just trying to tease out, like when we talk about who are you, oftentimes in the conscious community we say things like I am loving energy, but that doesn't really get you to
Can I share what came up for me when that question was like asked?
Sure.
Yeah, the first things that like came up for me were Phoenix. I'm a warrior, survivor, dancer. I guess just like things that first came up that defined like who I think I am, or not who I think I'm supposed to be, but who I.
So that question it's okay to answer it in that form, Petra. Like these are character traits. This is kind of how I see myself. This is like, these are what I resonate with, rather than like getting to the who, which is really consciousness.
Yeah, I would say, most of our who's will present as what's, right? Because that's how our minds work. Okay. So I would say just run with it and, get into your subconscious here. So yes, you can write like who you want to be, but we really want to be with just like, who do you think you are right now? So if you're really resonating with, like I am the warrior, and that's really what you're feeling, great, write that down. And then I also want to encourage you to dig a little deeper to even the parts of, like who you are that you don't necessarily like, but it's there, So for example, for me, it's like, I definitely still have this identity of just like, I'm a weak person, right? Or like, or I'm someone who I'm someone who doesn't know how to stand up for herself sometimes, right? So we also want to dig into those because those are the things that we're going to clear. So also try and connect with the parts of yourself that you're challenged by, and like, who do you think of yourself in those situations as well? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. That's how I took it a little bit. Like, who are you? Like right now, I put myself in this present time and I'm stressed and I'm unhealthy in a way. And it's like, who are you not? I am not that person, and it's like, what are the next steps that I'm going to be taking to get myself into that healthy mindset of, I am that warrior, that successful businesswoman or whatever it is. And so I think sometimes I just focus on the negative, even though I know I shouldn't, but it's hard to snap out of it when there's so much going on. And it's just the opposite of what you want to attract in that instance.
Absolutely. And that's the subconscious mind, right? That part of you, I know I shouldn't be thinking this, but it's there. And that's why we really want to get it on paper so we can see it and then we're going to clear it. And, the part of the who are you not, right? That can be a quote unquote positive or negative thing. So for example, when I'm doing abundance work with people, Some people identify as like, who am I? Like, I'm poor. Who are you not? I'm not one of those rich people. Okay, well, if that's what you believe deep inside, how do you think money's going to show up for you? Right. And so
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
to go in both polarities. And then the who are you not, that's also going to show you like where your values are. Right. So for example, for me, I have a value, like I'm not a fighter. Like I don't fight. Right. So then if I find myself in a fight, I'm very uncomfortable because I'm like, this isn't who I am. And it's just good to notice.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, beautiful. Any more questions? Okay, clear? All right, great. So I'm going to turn on some music and I'll set a timer for 10 minutes. And then if you have questions throughout, you can also just put it in the chat. All right. Okay. How are you guys doing? Do you need more time or are you finished? You done? Okay, you finished, Julie? What?
I just wrapped it up.
Okay,
I
amazing.
feel great.
Alexandra, do you still need more time?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, amazing. So, what did you find? Tell me what was surprising to you in your exploration.
I think just things that I deeply knew, but I didn't take the time to acknowledge or to write them down. It's like, as much as I was in denial, the reality of it is like similar to Jennifer, I do need to rethink my career. I do need to rethink. And sometimes you have to take a step back to take a step forward. And saying it out loud can make such a difference, or writing it down, like journaling, and really just like, the first thing that came to mind, full disclosure, was just like stressed, unhappy. And I'm like, that's not who I am. And that's not who I ever want to portray myself to be. And, health issues similar to, I'm dealing with some stuff right now. I just, not that I don't want to disclose it, but I'm still doing some tests and everything. And like my skin's kind of acting up, so it's like my body is telling me through my skin, through how it's, I don't know what the right word is, but how it's manifesting everything. And I'm just like, I don't want to walk through that fire of accepting it, but I think it's time for me to accept it, to be able to move forward, and accomplish everything I want to accomplish. So I kind of put them all together as a one question, I guess. So, and my values, like, I'm what I believe is valuable and what I preach every single day to myself and to others. Like I haven't really been practicing that because of everything else and the stress and just the unhappiness. So that's not really what I want to continue to focus on or portray. And I think subconsciously, it's like I'm always like, oh my God, I feel, stressed, but it's like, oh my God, I shouldn't feel this way. And it's like I kind of turn to 160 or 360 or whatever. So I'm happy that I'm able to grasp it in the moment, but I need to just learn how to make sure it goes away even much more on a deeper level. So
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
oh yeah, no, thank you.
And it's always that dance between, okay, we like see the thing that we don't want, but we also can't just ignore it and resist it, right? So it's really bringing it all full circle. And because at the end of the day, things just are, right? Events are neutral. And it's the story and the perception that we create around it that creates the emotion, the feeling, and what it leads you to do in your life, right? So what would you say is the story, and just tell me in like, in like a sentence or two, what is the primary story that you're telling about yourself right now? Like, who are you right now?
Someone that needs to heal back to her old self, but not because you shouldn't be moving forward or that, you can't improve as time or, the years go by, but someone that just that does not have a negative mindset, if that even makes sense. Someone that's happy and positive and just like full of life and doesn't really have any limitations and like the situation I'm in, and it's mostly work related, to be completely frank. It's kind of like I know I need to get myself out of it, and I know that's what's causing the stress and the pain and everything else that's going on. And it's like I haven't figured out a way how to walk through that fire and just saying, okay, I'm done. Because similar to what you're saying, it's like, then I think of everything else. Like, but if I do this, it's going to affect this person or it's going to affect that. And it's like, I've never really used to feel or think that way, because at the end of the day, I need to do what's best for me. So putting myself first has been a struggle.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And the next steps that we're going to go in this process is going to be taking you from where you are right now, right? Because, okay, the reality is you're in a process right now. And then now we're going to get a clearer vision of, okay, what's your next step? And turning, the pain or lessons or whatever you want to call it from this current situation, the growth opportunities, right? The growth challenges that are given to you. How do we bring that into the next vision of who you are? Because some of it's not going to go away immediately, right? Like, we just got to be honest. It's not like world hunger is going to go away like tomorrow, or if you're having health issues, like, it might take some time for that to heal. And also, how can we tell an empowering story about it? Because most likely an empowering, loving story is going to help you heal faster, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's just admitting it to yourself. It's like, I'm feeling the universe or whatever anyone believes in. It's like, it's telling me through my body that these are the necessarily changes that I need to make. And I think the more you're in denial, the more it's just going to aggravate. So, I think the powerful story, which obviously I'm just speaking quickly now, but I think it's just like how not to lose yourself, or how not, in the process of ensuring that others succeed, don't forget about who you are, and you're empowering others but destroying yourself, kind of like in the process. And it's like, switch the story. It's like, how do you empower yourself even more to be able to empower the other ones without forgetting about yourself and putting yourself first?
Absolutely. Yes. That's amazing. Beautiful integration. Yeah. And I want to, add an invitation as well. So in the language of the subconscious mind, and so this is really important to know, because the subconscious does not pick on, not, or, the opposite. So for example, if you're saying like, like, I'm not taking care of myself, it doesn't pick up that. So you want to always talk in, you want to attempt to talk in positive framing. So don't even mention like when you're creating an affirmation or a new direction for yourself, right? Just think in terms of the desire, think in terms of the things that you want. Don't include the things that you don't want in it, right? So for example, if you said earlier, not putting myself first, right? Yeah. So the subconscious is going to pick up on the not. So what's the opposite of not putting yourself first, or like what is the desired outcome?
Putting myself first.
Putting yourself first, exactly, right? So
Yeah.
starting to retrain your mind to language in those terms as well, because it's like if I tell you don't think about a pink elephant, what are you going to think about?
The pink elephant.
Exactly. That's how the subconscious works. So when you think about what you don't want, it actually manifests it. And this is where
No, yeah, it's so true. Even tonight, it's like I was like, okay, you know what? I'll make time to do this, even if it's different. And I need to be a little bit quieter or not have the camera on or whatever it is. It's like I was like, no, I'm putting myself first.
Yes.
So,
Thank you. Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
thank you.
Yeah. And what about you, Jay Lisa? What came up for you? What surprised you in your findings?
Yeah, my beliefs about myself are definitely a little meaner than I would like for them to be. Yeah, just like that's what comes up. And like, yeah, it's like these things, but when you write them down, it hits different. You're like, oh, okay, that's right. Like I did kind of know that I think that to myself, but when I write it down, you see it and you're just like, oh, I probably need to switch that up a little bit.
I know it's confronting, right? When we're like, oh, okay, that's been in there all along.
Yeah, you're like, right, yes, okay. And just like who I think I'm supposed to be, like just a good girl, like quiet, sweet, just be quiet. And it, makes sense because I was born and raised in the South, and it's the South, like it is what it is. And like little girl should be seen and not heard was an anthem. Like zip it, zip it, dry it up. I am crying tears. I'm still crying tears from I think when I'm like 2, 3 years old. I feel like I'm leaky nowadays because I'm just like, it's a bunch of built up stuff. And I'm really moving into like, yeah, I've been attacked, and like that's what pushed me into like PTSD, and patterning pushed me into that situation in the first place, and that's generational trauma. And like I signed a soul contract to come here and do this work. Oh my God. I feel like when we sign those soul contracts, we really don't get it. It's hard. This is really hard. So going from,
May I ask you,
Yeah.
if you're comfortable to share, what is the soul contract that you think you signed?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like I signed a contract to completely shatter a chain in my ancestry. It's so just a side note, you said pancreatic cancer. So pancreatic cancer is what took out my granddad after 2 weeks of knowing he had it.
Oh my God.
That is the fastest cancer kill. Like it's a miracle you're here. Like you're so supposed to be here. It is, pancreatic cancer is like, it'll take you out in a week. Like
it's vicious. Yeah.
it is. Yeah. And my mom was 3 years old when that happened. And she had 4 older brothers that shot her with BB guns and like tortured me growing up too. They're just like crazy. They lost their dad when, like, after 2 weeks of finding out anything was wrong. And so, never a good excuse to treat people like that, but that's just what happened. And pretty much all of the women in my family have gone into like abusive situations or alcoholism, or which luckily I don't struggle with any like addictions, thank God, but they've pushed themselves into just shut up, that whole like just zip it, be good, like do what you're supposed to do. I resonate with that, like just be quiet. And I've always been really sensitive. I'm so sensitive. And my mom, she put herself through law school after she had me single. Like that woman is a powerhouse and I respect it, but I can't do that. Like I'm too sensitive. She's always like, thicken your skin. Like, that boomer rhetoric of like, just pull up your bootstraps and like get your shit together. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to have to put out a trigger warning or anything, but like the hurt that has, and this is where the victim thing is tough for me, because I'm not a victim, I don't want to claim that, but it's what comes up, that I'm a victim. And things have happened to me at the hand of other people that I didn't have control over.
Yeah.
And I have that trauma, and like, yeah, the law of attraction, it just gets mixed up because you're like, okay, shit, this is like, this person really hurt me, but it's also like my responsibility to take care of this. And I want to work with the law of attraction, but I'm losing my mind right now because I'm having flashbacks, or I'm, like freaking having panic attacks that you biologically and physiologically, I don't want to say can't control. I never want to say can't, but you really feel like in that moment, like you don't have access to breath work. You don't have access to meditation. There's, you're losing it, and there's so many people like dropping like flies, and it's like, what is happening, you guys? Like, it's the rates of that happening are like skyrocketing. And yeah, we just have to do this work and show each other that that's not like, we got to be here with each other. And it hurts to go through it, but like, we're here to go through it. And that's, I feel like my soul contract, I'm like, I signed off on like just ripping apart these chains, and creating like a safe environment for my children. And I have a giant dream of opening a daycare where it's high vibration, and instead of timeout, we have sound healing or sound baths, or Reiki at circle time in kindergarten. And like, this should be so real. We have access to all of this. And I'm like, why isn't Kangen water in half the daycares? Like, why? You guys, like, get it together, and I'm like, forget it. Like, I'm gonna go through this. I'm like Dante's Inferno. That's how I feel. Just clawing my way up a mountain. And I really want to open that daycare. I want to facilitate high vibration people who can grow up and have compassion for themselves and for the community. Yeah.
Thank you.
I digress a little bit.
That was so inspiring to hear. And wow, thank you for sharing that, and for being so vulnerable and sharing where you came from and the generational trauma and your personal traumas. And I think it's something that we can all relate to in a different way, right? It's like we've all gotten these very unique soul contracts of the specific challenge that we're here to work through. And it's so beautiful that it's like, yes, you're still in it. We're all in it in our own ways, right? And yes, you are still in it, and you're still choosing love, and you're still choosing healing. And and there's gold in that. And I already see you finding the power and turning that pain into purpose right now as you speak. And that's amazing.
It's like, yeah, it's not an easy choice. And sometimes you see, it's that like, oh, just do it. That's that bypassing thing. Like, it's not easy to choose that sometimes, to choose love and to choose like pushing forward. And yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you just want to shut down, right? Sometimes you're in a loop.
Right.
That's very real as well, and we get to be with all of it. And healing happens in stages, right? It's like, if we are a homeless person with no money and we just want to believe like, I'm a billionaire, right? And that gap is so big that it's just gonna slingshot back to exactly where you are. So going in these phases and just giving yourself what you're ready for, right? Like giving your body and your subconscious what it's ready for. It's the greatest thing we can do is be kind to ourselves, right? And to each other. And so in whatever pace our healing unfolds, like, it is perfect. And you are perfectly where you're meant to be right now. Thank you. Beautiful. So now we're going to move into the clearing portion of it. So we got really honest with ourselves, and I want to invite us all to just put in the chat your top 1 to 3 beliefs, that are not serving you anymore, that you look at it and you're just like, you know what, I'm ready to let that go. And so just put it in the chat, and then we're going to do a group clearing. Okay, beautiful. So I'm worthless. I'm a bad person. That's why bad things happen to me. I'm needy. Amazing. I'm so excited for all of us to release that. And so how the theta healing is going to work is I'm going to do a group clearing. So I'm going to say it out loud. And if that's something that you desire to release from your field and on in all timelines, in all dimensions, and also in all 4 levels, meaning your personal level, your ancestral level, your genetic level, your spiritual level, just say yes as I'm doing the clearing, and then you're going to receive it as well. So I would love to hear from Alexandra. So Alexandra, can you actually say the belief around it? So Jaylee did a great job. Like, I'm worthless, right? That's a belief, because I'm going to name the belief. And then most likely the people here will resonate with it too. So then we all get the healing. Okay, I'm stressed and unhappy. Beautiful. Okay, is there anything else that you would like to clear? And unhappy. Is there another word for unhappy that we can use, just because the subconscious mind might pick up on the happy? Or we can even just stick with I'm stressed if you want. And then Jen, did you have anything you want to share? I'm going to put mine in too. Okay. Alexandra, you said the limiting beliefs that I'm facing right now. Yeah. So the limiting beliefs that are coming up about yourself right now, that you're like, you know what, this is not serving me anymore. I want to clear this. So if you have 2 more, I'm unclear. Beautiful. So again, Jen, we wanted to try not to use the word because your subconscious mind may pick up on that and register that I'm clear.
I'm having such a hard time with this because I'm trying to think of
Are there any beliefs about yourself that you're like, you know what, that doesn't serve me to have that belief about myself? Or about your life, like life is hard or life is unfair.
I've cleared like a lot of that already, so that's why I'm really. You can continue though. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Damn, Jen's been doing the work. Okay, beautiful. All right, anything else for you, Alexandra, before we start? Or it can even be about the world, Jen, if you have some beliefs about the world that you're like, I don't know if this is serving. Or about business.
So I'm always coming up with words. That's the thing. Like if I
Okay.
say like if the perception is I'm unqualified, then what would be the same way of saying that, but in a different way?
I'm unqualified. So
because it's not that I'm inexperienced, and then it's another or I need a dictionary.
Maybe don't have what it takes, or I don't know if like that would be what comes up, like you feeling unqualified maybe translates to not feeling like you have like what it takes for something. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to frame it in a way that Petra's stating, because without the negative or the not.
Yeah, it is kind of tricky. I know. It's not. that's the game of the sequence. Fine. Okay, I'm unqualified. So let's look at this thesaurus for that.
Because I know I'm qualified. I mean, so that's the weird thing, because my subconscious knows that, but it is that something that still keeps me hesitating. It's like,
yeah, everything's an in. That's interesting.
Or maybe
ineligible, incompetent, unable.
Yeah,
I'm looking at thesaurus right now.
Why don't I just say that I procrastinate?
I procrastinate. Okay, yeah.
Even though I know there's no such thing, but it's like
okay.
I don't know. It's anyway. I'll put it there.
Okay. And then Alexandra, you said I won't succeed. So we also want to try and not work with the won'ts or don'ts. So would it be like I'm destined for failure or I'm going to fail? Was one of that resonate with you more? I'm going to fail. Okay, beautiful. Okay, I also noticed I put I'm not good enough, so I'm gonna delete that. So for me, I'm not good enough is I'm less than.
I'm gonna steal yours, Alexandra, because I'm gonna put that too. I'm going to fail because I think that everybody has this fear of failure, and I think that it's a very real feeling. and
Okay.
sentiment.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so now we're gonna do the theta healing clearing process. So again, if you would like to clear this for yourself on all timelines, all dimensions, all 4 levels, just say yes as I make the command. And I just invite you to close your eyes and receive. You may feel something, you may feel nothing at all. For everyone, the process is different, and just trust that it is happening and unfolding. So universe created all that is, it is commanded that the beliefs I am worthless. Oh, actually, sorry. Okay. So if you would like to clear the beliefs, I am worthless, and then just say yes if you want to clear it. Yes. I'm a bad person, and that's why bad things happen to me. I am needy. From your subconscious on all timelines and all dimensions, say yes. Beautiful. If you would like to clear the beliefs, I am stressed, and you can just say yes silently in your head if you want. Work is hard. I procrastinate. I'm going to fail, and I am less than. On all timelines and all dimensions, please say yes. Okay, beautiful. All right, so now that we got those out of the way, and it's actually that simple and that fast. So now that we have those out of the way, we can step into the next part of the story. And so in this part, we're going to rewrite our story into what we want. So now we know, okay, what's here? We found some things that are not in our desired reality, right? And so now let's move on to scripting your new story. So I'm going to share screen again. Share screen, okay. All right, so in scripting your new story, let's look at, do you like your current story? If not, what would you like instead? So this is where we really just want to focus on our desires, right? And be real with yourself, you know? It's like anything that you desire, put it on paper, that's okay. And then who is this new version of you? So in this story, you're reinventing your character, right? Who is this new version of you? And again, right from the heart, whatever you desire is okay. And when you are that person, what would that look and feel like? So I really want you to write, you know, like, what does it look like when you embody that person? You know, and what does it feel like to embody that person? And I really want you to connect with the emotions here. So as you're scripting this out, I want you to feel the emotions come alive in your body, right? Do I feel confident? Do I feel free? Do I feel joyful? Do I feel sexy? Whatever that is for you. Do I feel calm? Do I feel at ease? And the stronger the emotion, the faster the manifestation. And then from this space too, what is your new focus in life? So for example, if your old focus was, you know, like say you are in this, if you have health problems, which is very real, right? If your new focus, if your old focus was like, oh, I'm in pain, right? And the story that keeps on going in your mind is like, ow, this hurts, this sucks, I'm in so much pain, how do I get rid of this pain, right? Like that's really real. That might have been your old focus. Okay, so what's a healthier focus for you now? What's a focus that's more aligned with your desire? Instead of thinking about, oh, I'm in so much pain, maybe your new focus is, what feels good in my body right now? What does my body need? How can I serve my body, right? And so just start leading your focus, leading your mind to the direction that you want to go, you know, to that experience of the new you that you're embodying. when you are that person, when you are this, for example, confident, healthy, successful person, what is she thinking, right? Like, what is her mindset? How does she feel? How does she show up? So you really want to dig into that. And then in this version of you, what do you believe about yourself in your life, right? Do you believe that success is inevitable? Do you believe that I am healing at the perfect rate? Do you believe that I am supported in everything I do? Do you believe that even if I don't know the things I need to right now, I'm going to learn it? Do you believe that I'm an incredible learner? Do you believe that I can do anything I set my mind to? So really start, honing in on like, what empowering beliefs will keep me going in this version of myself. So I'll set a timer for 7 minutes. And if you have any questions, just pop it in the chat. Okay, great. Do you need more time, Jaylee?
No, 2 more words. I'm writing that.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Are you complete? All right. So I would love to hear from both of you, Jaylee and Alexandra. Who would like to go first in claiming this new story that you're writing? Who are you now? You want to go first? All right, let's do it.
Yeah, this was really powerful. And like, yeah, I've done some quantum jumping before, and I love this. So yeah, this is really fun because I've been feeling like I'm in this limbo land, and it's just literally like everything's floating around me and nothing has landed in its place yet, but that's okay. And I'm learning how to just be patient with that, and allow the story to come through. And yeah, so it totally did and is. And just the first thing that really came through is that I'd like space for myself.
Mm.
And like the word space was really, I almost wrote it down twice, because like space for myself. Because yeah, I don't think I've been, the idea that I'm too much and all of this is like, I haven't really been making space for myself.
Mhm.
So then the people around me aren't making space for me either. And like, hamster wheel of repeating patterns and like all of the things. And the new version of me is an action taking, like level-headed and responses and unshakable, value to my community,
Mm.
and an ally, that knows her worth, and is focused and driven, with kindness and patience. I think sometimes in the past I've like, okay, focused and driven, the pendulum has swung this way where I'm a victim and, like irresponsible, and then I'm swinging this way where I'm hustling and I have to like hit it really hard, and the focus and drive is more of a hustler, like, but it's like that doesn't work either. Just
Mhm.
being like focused and driven with kindness and patience.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, for myself first, and like obviously that just like, yeah, I have to give it to myself first, which is like, it's hard. I'm like, I know this, but it's like feeling, yeah, feeling tough. It's uncomfortable, which is
Beautiful. Yeah.
fine.
In
Yeah,
that, it's very real that it would come up to say, okay, like I know I want this and it's hard. So subconscious mind reframe, if that thought comes up, it's hard to do it, right? Ask yourself, okay, and how can I make it easy? Right?
yeah,
So immediately reroute your brain to the solution, reroute your brain to the desire.
yeah,
And that doesn't mean that you're excluding that it's hard. It's just like, okay, I acknowledge that this is hard, and how can I make this easy right now?
yeah, yes, yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes, yes. And like, yeah, accessing like tools.
Mhm.
And yeah, also like I give myself permission to say no. I think I just say yes, 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 because I don't want anybody to be mad at me. And that has been a past like if somebody's mad at me, I'm not safe. And so just believing that like I'm safe in my environment, that is a huge step. And just being able to say like no without feeling like them being like, are you mad? You're not mad, right? I said, is that okay that I said no? Was that the right thing to say? If you want yes, I can totally say yes. Like that's
Yeah.
it's like, and that's, I turn around and I'm like, you didn't want to, why did you do that? You didn't want to do that. And yeah, trusting in myself to make those balanced decisions with the confidence that I can like follow through and not be like, ooh, I don't know, did that make you mad? Is that okay? Yeah. And then in this version of me, I believe that I'm a healer. I'm intelligent, I'm patient, I'm concise, I'm always where I'm supposed to be, I'm right on time, I'm on point, and my life is full of support and love.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
Wow. Wow. I love the transformation and how clear you feel, just seeing you and hearing you, how real that already is for you, just hearing that in your voice. Beautiful. Thank you. And what about you, Alexandra? Who are you now? What is the story that you're choosing to tell from here on out?
So I kept mine a bit short because I'm still sort of processing it. Like I don't need more time, but I'm kind of grasping it of how to put it all together. But I think for me, I'm gonna release the failure aspect of I am a successful yoga studio, business owner, and I've eliminated the limited beliefs that I used to have due to my current environment. And I build a community where you heal from within. And I'm just that successful individual that I've always manifested and visioned that I know I have the ability to be. And I released, the stress and the worry. And I generally, off topic for a second, but I generally believe that every failure ends up being a success. And kind of stopped believing that for a bit just because I've been so stressed and everything. So I think it's time. Well, I know it's time to just eliminate all those limited and negative beliefs. So I just see myself achieving the goal that I want and building that community that I know could benefit from it because I've experienced it myself. I've seen others experience, and creating a safe haven of people to come together and not being judged. And to Jaylee, what she was saying too, it's like it's okay to say no, and I can't continue to worry like if that makes you feel good or not. And to her point too, it's like, yes, I could say yes if you want me to, but I'm still not gonna do it. So if hearing you say yes is going to make you feel better, okay, fine, I'll say yes. But I will no longer care because I know that I'm not in that mindset anymore. And you will get to choose to do with it whatever you choose to do with it.
Yeah, you honor your boundaries.
Because we put so much energy by reacting to other individuals' emotions and feelings, but they don't return it sometimes, and you focus on making them feel good about themselves, and they don't turn around and say, well, are you okay with me saying no, or are you okay with what I said, or how did that make you feel?
Absolutely beautiful. So
Exactly. You don't have to be afraid of saying no, and it's okay to say no without explaining yourself.
Yes. So I hear that you are standing for yourself and your self-care and putting yourself first and saying yes to your self-care and allowing others to have their reactions and have their feelings. And you're okay with that.
Yeah. I honestly, like, I am not, a selfish person, but at the end of the day, if it's like, this is who I've always been, I just lost myself a little bit. And if you want to be part of the journey, great. And if you don't, I'll heal from it.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to do a quick time check. It is 8:30, but I want to wrap it up. Are you ladies okay staying for another 10 minutes?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Great. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're going to download the beliefs that really support it into your subconscious. So just like we did before, type in the chat, what are your top 1 to 3 beliefs or affirmations that really embody this new version of yourself? Beautiful. So Jennifer says, I am clear. I am powerful. I am good enough. I honor myself first. I am successful. Amazing. I am on point. I'm concise. I'm patient. These are fantastic. Okay. I'm going to add a couple. I attract success in every aspect of my life. I love that. That's so good. I'm surrounded by love. I can do it.
See, this part I can do.
This part you're amazing at. Okay, beautiful. All right. Okay, so so for this one, I'm going to do a mass download. So again, if you want it, you can just say yes in your head or out loud. So I invite you to close your eyes as we download these new belief systems into our subconscious. Okay. So would you like to download the belief, I am clear, I am good enough, I honor myself first, I am successful, I am powerful, I am succeeding every step of the way, I am on point, I am concise, I am patient, I am supported, I attract success in every aspect of my life, I can do it, and I am surrounded by love. So if you would like to receive these downloads, just say yes. Download into all timelines and all dimensions of every aspect of your being. And would you like to know that you already know how to live and embody these affirmations in your day-to-day life? That it is easy and natural for you to embody these affirmations in your day-to-day life. That this is already a part of you. That this is already ingrained within you. And all you have to do is remember it and show up in aligned action. That you are clear, powerful, supported, good enough, that you honor yourself first, that you are successful, that you are succeeding every step of the way, you are on point, concise, and patient, you are supported, that you attract success in every aspect of your life, that you can do it, that you are surrounded by love. Thank you. It's done, it is done, it is done. So now with your eyes closed, I want to anchor this in with the visualization. So seeing yourself as that new version of yourself that you've already written down and scripted, with these new beliefs, with this new vibration, with this new embodiment, these new feelings, this new focus. I want you to imagine from here on out, from this very moment, how do you show up? Knowing that you are successful, that you are supported, that you are powerful, that you honor yourself, and these different affirmations that we've already downloaded into your subconscious. Envision how your life would be from here on out, living as that character. How do you think? How do you speak? How do you dress? How do you show up? How do you deal with challenges? How do you receive? How do you ask for what you want? How do you go about your tasks and goals? How are you going to bed at night? What are your last thoughts and feelings? Really feeling that. Just allowing this new version of you to come alive, to take center stage, to begin running the show. And from this place, now we're going to really anchor it into action. So being this new version of you, what is one aligned action that you can take in the next 24 hours to really affirm that this is the new me, this is my new behavior? And when you have that, just write it in the chat. So what is one aligned action you can take in the next 24 hours that affirms this new person you are? Okay, so Alexandra shared how to respond to things or negative energy. Okay, beautiful. And so how does this version of you, how does this new person respond to things and negative energy? So be really clear. Okay, so Jennifer said, I will ask for the pitch meetings from qualified investors. Amazing. Okay, Alexandra, choosing what is worth wasting my energy on. Okay, so I want to invite you to, positive reframe. So choosing what is worth investing my energy in, right? So what's actually worth investing your energy in? So getting clear, right? So maybe your first step is getting clear. What is worth my energy right now? And maybe it's even just writing it down, right? What about you, Jaylee? What's one aligned action that you feel inspired to take?
That's it. A second.
Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. So Jaylee shared, give myself a moment to process what is being shared with me when it comes to having others, when it comes to others having a choice in my next steps. I take in the information without reaction and know that I'm where I'm supposed to be and everything is okay. I'm on my path, I'm on point, no matter the emotions that may come up. Amazing, beautiful. Okay, so are we committed to taking that one step in the next 24 hours? And just type in a yes if you are a fuck yes to that, because the universe rewards action. Yes. Beautiful. Full body yes. I love it. Okay. And so that's the next step, right? And then here's a little bit of homework that I'm going to give you. And this is now what's going to integrate it in the long run, right? Because a thought without action, without repeated action, it just becomes a wasted thing. It's not wasted, but it doesn't become your reality. That needs reinforcement. So what actions and behaviors are most important for you to embody to create this lasting shift, right? Because if you just hold up your boundary once and then you never do it again, most likely, the same problems are going to keep on reoccurring. So here's your homework to really look at, okay, in this new version of myself, what am I saying yes to? What am I saying no to? What do I really need to hold myself accountable to? Right? So like, for example, for me, like I'm on the path of, growing my coaching business. And so the actions and behaviors that I need to really implement is the discipline of having disciplined working hours, for example, right? And so my next step is I'm going to block off my calendar and really put this as my working hours. And I'm not going to say yes to anything else besides those things, right? So really feel into what that is for you. And, I want to honor the time here. So we're going to close out in a bit. But I do want to invite you to, keep in touch. So Human Beauty Movement. Jen, do you want to do our closing here and invite them into the Mighty Networks and how to keep in touch with all of us?
What was that last? Can you go back one? Sorry,
Yeah.
one slide. Okay, let's see.
So what actions
Okay,
and behaviors are most important for you to embody to create this lasting shift?
okay, perfect.
Okay, so what does this new person do on the regular?
Thank you so much, Petra, for leading this incredible session. I believe that it was extremely valuable and insightful. And I just want to thank you, Jaylee and Alexandra, for joining us tonight.
Mm.
At this time, I'll be sending a 3-question feedback form right after this ends, because we always want to know, how you took away things, how it met your needs. And we always want to continue better meeting your needs. And so let us know how it was for you. And then if you enjoyed this session, please let others know. The Human Beauty Movement and Petra's business, we thrive by word of mouth. And so if you did receive anything positive out of that, please share it with your social media, share it with your friends and family, and let others know that we're here. We would love to be able to touch as many lives as we can. One way that you can do so is by joining the Human Beauty Movement community. If you go to thehumanbeautymovement.com, you'll find us. You can see what we're about, and also, keep the networking and the love alive. On there, you'll also see a listing of our upcoming events. You can follow us on Eventbrite too, called the Human Beauty Movement, and you just click the little heart and you'll be alerted as to all of our new events coming up every time that we list a new one. Our next event that is hosted by Petra will be on July 13th, and it will be a manifestation mastermind. So I encourage you to join us there. But with that, I just want to wish everybody an amazing week, and thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, ladies. It's been amazing.
Thank you so much. And yeah, definitely join us for the future session. The Manifestation Mastermind is fantastic for really getting these into action, and you'll have accountability and people who want to support you. So highly recommend it. That one is free. And also if anything comes up for you, I would love to keep in touch. And if you are desiring extra support, feel free to email me or add me on Instagram. Jen, is that going to be going on the email?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So you get an email with all the information, and I would love to keep in touch and, continue seeing how I can support you on your journey.
Same. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a great evening and a great week.
Good night.
Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.